So there's a big misconception, and I want to go over the kind of the do's and don'ts of what you need to do when you're trying to train for boxing. Now, I'm going to go over the old school mentality, and then I'm also going to go over a science-based approach. Now, whether you're here or here, I'm going to tell you why I think that this side is a little bit better, but this side does have some good points. All right. So the first thing from an old school mentality, right? The old school way of thinking is lifting weights will make you slow. Now, yes, lifting slow weights using, bodybuilding type exercises with super slow eccentrics and working through ranges of motion that are partial will slow you down. But when you're looking at a science-based approach, lifting weights with proper technique, range of motion is key, tempo, right? How fast you're moving it, and then the intensity, how much weight are you actually lifting, is going to actually increase your speed. So it's taking what this says and totally turning it on its side, because if you go ahead and you lift a weight with proper range of motion, working on compound movements that's going to enhance overall performance, and then you do it with the proper tempo, which is the speed of the movement, and then the intensity, which is the weight on the movement, you're going to get faster, okay? Second one, weight training will mess up my punching mechanics. Now, again, if you're doing bodybuilding-esque type movements, yes, this will distort your punching. This will make you tighter. This will shorten up the biceps. This will give you a kyphotic, rounded out posture. This will tighten up your lats to where you can't throw your punches with a lot more overall range of motion. From the science-based approach, right? Proper weight training will improve on the velocity and force if trained in that full range of motion, right? Again, you're not going to distort your movement or your biomechanics if you know how to optimally weight train for performance, not for bodybuilding. A lot of the times with the old school mentality, these guys are thinking that we're training like bodybuilders. We're training like just to build hypertrophy. Now that's not the case. When you're trying to move weight with maximal intent and you're trying to move it with fast velocities, and then you're also increasing force production and overall force and strength, you're going to increase these abilities to actually throw your punches with a lot more efficient, okay? Number 3, all you need is boxing to improve your conditioning. Now, don't get me wrong. I tell my guys all the time, if you want to get good and you want to be efficient in your energy outputs, you need to spar. You need to work your boxing. You need to do your striking. With that being said, the only way you're going to improve on that baseline of energy output is to increase the conditioning through a controlled environment, which will provide you with that sustained result going further. So it's not just that you can do the sport itself to get you better. That's true specificity. We have to also work from a general approach to give you a wider base so that you can build upon that. If you don't do that, you're only going to set the ceiling so high. Okay? And the last one, throwing weighted punches, preferably with the dumbbells, to improve punching power. Now, if you look at dumbbells, and I'm not talking about half-pound dumbbells, I'm not even talking about those little egg weights. I'm talking about, I see guys throwing punches with 5 to even 10-pound dumbbells in their hands, right? If you do that, when you throw your punches, you have to think about where the punches is going when the force is distributed, right? If I throw a punch with a dumbbell, especially if I throw a straight punch, my hand's gonna come down, which is going to negatively affect, right, my punching mechanics, because as I throw my jab, it's automatically directing it downward. So I'm actually dropping my hands as I throw my jab, right? If you look at it from a science-based approach, right, dumbbell punches negatively affect the joints and the displacement of that force in the wrong direction, vertically, not horizontal, right? Ultimately distorting the biomechanics of your punches. Now, you're talking about up here where weight training distorts punches and your biomechanics. Throwing punches with dumbbells will definitely distort it. Now, weight training in the right ways, again, in the right sequencing and also in the right direction will help. If you're doing this with uppercuts, this may be a different story. But if you're throwing straights and you're throwing with dumbbells, just know that that force displacement is going in the wrong direction, and you're gonna ultimately destroy your joints and then mess up your biomechanics of your straight punches, all right? So, The do's and don'ts, the old school mentality, the science-based approach. You choose which one you want to follow. I'm going to choose more along the lines of this, but I will take some things from here, especially with the road work for aerobic capacity. I do like that. And obviously training the sport is highly important too as well. Again, I go over all these types of styles, and all this approach is predicated towards my boxing program in my 8-week boxing program. You guys can check that out. Thanks again for watching.